Hello, Life Groups. Welcome back. We're starting a brand new 3-week series this week called You of Little Faith. And this week, we're focusing on Matthew chapter 6 and verses 25 through 34. And in this portion of scripture, Jesus is teaching his followers and us how to deal with worry in our lives. You know, worry goes by many names, and whether we call it fear, whether we call it stress, maybe even anxiety, or whatever name we choose to call it, it is something that we all deal with. And we all deal with it in different ways, right? So maybe you're worried about school starting, or you have a senior in your home that's worried about graduation and the next season of life. Maybe you're a young adult that's worried that life isn't turning out the way that you had hoped that it would. Or maybe as a parent, you're worried about your kids and the choices that they're making. Maybe you're worried about the election, your marriage, your job, maybe your health, or even your finances. And we could add to that list as we go. And yes, there is time and a place for genuine concern, but we have to guard ourselves against allowing worry and anxiety to set in. You see, the difference between worry and concern is that worry immobilizes you, but concern moves you to action. In this portion of scripture here in Matthew chapter 6, Jesus says the phrase, "do not worry," 3 different times. And then he gives us 3 things to do instead of worrying. First, he says to trust God to provide. Jesus invites us to trust in God's care. And he reminds us that life is about more than just our physical needs. Just as God provides for the birds of the air, he'll provide for us as well. The second thing that Jesus says is to know that God is faithful. If God cares enough to clothe the flower in beautiful ways, how much more will he care for you? God is faithful even in the smallest of details. If he cares about the flowers who are here today and gone tomorrow, then we can trust him with our needs and our concerns, no matter how big or how small. The third thing that Jesus says is to seek God's kingdom first. Seeking God's kingdom requires us to shift our focus from worrying about material things to pursuing God's kingdom and his righteousness. And as we prioritize our relationship with God and we align our lives with his will, he promises that he's going to provide for our every need. Pursuing God's kingdom and his righteousness, it takes the focus and the attention off of us and puts it back onto Jesus. It's this surrendering control instead of trying to grasp and gain control. And it's this continuing acknowledgement that it is always about Jesus. Enjoy your discussion today.